I had just got down in the pump compartment, and what had happened, they had an emergency out on the chains, the Aleutian chains. So me and my buddy, we were it was lunchtime, and Sergeant come in and said, "Need you two airmen to go out there and take that pump out and ship it to the Aleutian chains." Well, you know, that's a simple thing to do. So I go out, and I'm smaller than anybody else in the unit. At that time I weighed about 120 pounds, soaking wet. So I go out and I get in the compartment. I get what tools I think I'm gonna need. Climb down in there. There's pipes all around over me and around me. I go down, I loosen the bolts and take the pump up, and I reach down and get a hold of it. And when I pulled up on it, the fuel ran out. I could see it running out. And about the same time I saw the fuel, whew, I'm sailing through the air. I hit on the concrete outside. Well, it's in the building, I mean, outside the tanker. You know how these doors are built here at the front, or you got a vacuum seal. They had the same thing, same kind of system up there, except it was a steel door and you had to open it, you know. So I walk over to that, walk through the first door and it's unlocked, and I walk to the second door and I'm on fire. About that time I realized that I'm burning. I mean, it's hurting. Yeah. And anyway, I walked out to the door and I said, "Don't run. You're dead if you run." So I walked up to the door and it was locked. Don't know why it was locked, but it was locked. So I immediately looked around the little room I was in, just like these entryways here. I was looking for anything to wrap up in, because that's what they teach you to do, is to roll in something. Don't run, never run if you're on fire. So I walk around there and I look, and there's nothing there. And by this time I'm on fire. My arm's burning. I see the skin melting off my hand. I said, "Well, I've got to do something." I walked back to the door, and I just laid my hand up on it, and it fell over. The whole thing just fell out in the snow. I guess it's one of those superhuman strengths that you read about, but anyway, that's what happened, and I walked on out and laid down in the snow and covered myself up. Second floor of the building, there's a captain up there in the room up above us. He looked down, he saw me laying there in the snow, he said, "Are you hurt?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I think so. I'm on fire." He said, "I'll call an ambulance." So he called an ambulance. They come out there, and I got up, walked over to the ambulance, and laid down on my face in the ambulance. So they took me on to the hospital, and they put me up on the bed there, or on the table, spread my legs out, put gas mask on me, and put me to sleep. I stayed there off what seemed like a long time, and all of a sudden I could see myself laying down there on the table with my legs spread, and they had a wire brush. It was taking the hide off my extremities, my arm. You could see all the bones in this hand here, all the way up. So anyway, the doctor saw me awake, and he said, "Give him some more ether." They give him more ether, and that stuff was making me sick. And I remember all this. I could see it just like it happened yesterday. So they'd give me more ether, and I thought, well, you know, he's going to give me more ether whether I like it or not, so I might as well close my eyes. So I'd close my eyes, but I'd peek. And it did get me put to sleep. I wasn't feeling no pain at that time because, you know, they had me sedated, but anyway, but I was just floating around on the ceiling, like, you know, looking down there, and hey, boy, it kind of hurt, looks like. Oh yeah, man, I've had so many surgeries, skin grafts, well, you can call them surgeries. To start off with, they'd give me ether and that'd make me sick, so they started giving me sodium pentothal, and that worked real good. And then they said, well, you're getting too much of that. So they started doing spinal blocks. And that, I told them I didn't particularly care for that. I was afraid of it. So they quit doing that. I think I had something like 17 different operations for skin grafts.